Welcome to the North Dakota Department of Public Instruction Title IV webinar series. This webinar will provide information and resources for those districts who receive an allocation under $30,000 in the area of Title IV. All districts must complete the consolidated application annually to access their federal title funding. New for the 2019-2020 school year, the department has created a series of recorded presentations specific to each title program and/or topic pertaining to the completion of the consolidated application. This presentation is specific to Title IV Part A programming for districts whose allocation is under $30,000. For today's agenda, we'll cover some general information regarding Title IV, the purpose and updates. Then we'll cover the Title IV components and stars, which include annual evaluation, consultation, investment of Title IV funds, equitable services, prioritization of funds, evidence-based, alignment of funds with your programs and activities, staff, integrated activities. Then we'll wrap up with key information regarding Title IV, supplement not supplant requirements, transferability, sustainability, and some contact information for the Department of Public Instruction. The next section will cover Title IV general information. Purpose of Title IV funds. The primary purpose of Title IV Part A of the Every Student Succeeds Act is to improve the student's academic achievement by increasing the capacity of states, districts, schools, and local communities to provide all students with access to well-rounded education, improve school conditions for student learning, and improve the use of technology in order to improve the academic achievement and digital literacy of all students. Title IV updates. Estimated federal allocations for the 2019-2020 school year have been released. New, the Department of Public Instruction has revised the previous assigned contact list within the Division of Student Support and Innovation, the Consolidated application. The contact list has been replaced with expert staff which are assigned to oversee, review, and approve program-specific sections of the Consolidated application in their area of expertise. Staff within the Office of Educational Equity and Support will provide technical assistance and guidance on the Title IV specific sections of the Consolidated application. It is important to remember that Title IV funds are supplemental and therefore we do not know the sustainability of the program. Carryover. School districts are allowed to carry over 100% of their federal Title IV allocation into the next school year and have a full 27 months to obligate and expend funds. The North Dakota Department of Public Instruction will close out each fiscal year as of June 30th and make the remainder of the district's Title IV allocation available as carryover. If applicable, after 24 months, the Title IV final financial statement will indicate the carryover funds that must be spent by September 30th of that year. Fiscal year 2018 was the first time that funds had been awarded under the SSAE program. Therefore, with respect to an allocation of fiscal year 2018 SSAE funds, the potential for carryover would not exist until after the first 15 months of funding, so not until October 1, 2019. The carryover for any fiscal 2018 SSAE funds would be October 1, 2019 through September 30th, 2020. For those districts who are receiving a Title IV allocation for the first time in the 2019-2020 fiscal year, the potential for carryover would not exist until after the first 15 months of funding, so not until after October 1, 2020. The carryover year for any fiscal year 2019 SSAE funds would be October 1, 2020 through September 30th, 2021. Consolidated application components and stars. The first section you'll see will be allocations for Title IV Part A. Here you'll be asked to provide the name of the contact person, their phone, email, signature authority as identified in your school board minutes, signature authority email. These email addresses are critical as they are used for all correspondence and updates for Title IV Part A. Also, you'll find your allocations, carryover and adjustments, and total available. These figures will all be pre-populated. Annual evaluation. Districts must plan to periodically review and monitor the effectiveness of their Title IV Part A program or activities and engage in consultation to make any adjustments. Consultation. Districts must consult with stakeholders in the 3 priority areas throughout the program development and implementation process. Again, those priority areas are access to well-rounded education, improve school conditions for student learning, and improve the use of technology in order to improve the academic achievement and digital literacy for all students. Stakeholders must include but are not limited to the following: parents, teachers, principals, students, and school leaders, specialized instructional support personnel, Indian tribes and tribal organizations, legal government representatives, others with relevant and demonstrated experience, community-based organizations. Here you'll be asked to describe the methods you use to consult with stakeholders in the review. When adjustments are made to your consolidated application, it is necessary to re-engage in meaningful consultation with all stakeholders. Investment of Title IV funds. This is a new section for the consolidated application this year. The first question is based on the North Dakota K-12 strategic plan and outcomes for all students. We know that these outcomes are our priorities, and it is important to align our funds and therefore our activities. You will be asked to provide a narrative to answer the following. How was the investment of Title IV Part A funds address the following? And there you see our priorities listed: increase students who enter kindergarten prepared to learn, increase students who demonstrate reading proficiency in the 3rd grade, increase students who meet expected learning gains each year, increase students who engage in learning, increase students who graduate choice ready, reduce the disparity in achievement for students in poverty and for Native American students, and the last one has been a new addition: increase access to behavioral health services for students and provide professional development for staff. The second question focuses on the required continuous improvement through advanced ed. That question is, how does this investment of Title IV Part A funds align to your local strategy map in advanced ed? Your strategy map within advanced ed lists your critical initiatives and your key measures or your data you use to determine and measure your work. If these align with the purpose and allowed use of Title IV funds, then this helps you determine how to spend your funds. Or perhaps you could braid several funding streams to meet a goal or critical initiative. Or perhaps you see that there is not an alignment to Title IV funds, so perhaps you want to transfer these funds to another program. If you want to visit further and discuss your strategy map, please schedule a call. During this section, you'll be asked to provide a narrative answering both of the above questions. Equitable services. Educational services and other benefits provided under this section for private school children, teachers, and other educational personnel shall be equitable in comparison to the services and benefits for public school children, teachers, and other educational personnel participating in the program, and shall be provided in a timely manner. No public funds are distributed to non-public schools, only services and materials to support those services. The local school districts retain control over the services provided to the non-public. By design, they're to meet the needs of the non-public students and teachers, and these services must be supplemental, secular, neutral, and non-ideological. Meaningful consultation with private schools must occur before making any decisions about transferring funds. So if that's something that you decide later on, it is important that you re-engage with those stakeholders and have that discussion. Be sure to adequately describe the services being provided to the private schools, and in general, to ensure that the equitable services are provided in a timely manner, the district must obligate the funds allocated for equitable services under all applicable programs in the year in which they are appropriated. A separate webinar provides further guidance on equitable services. Prioritization of funds. During this section of the consolidated application, you will be asked to describe your prioritization method. You will need to include the data reviewed, used to determine your risk areas. Districts must prioritize the distribution of Title IV-A funds to schools that have the greatest need, as determined by the district, have the highest percentages or numbers of low-income children, are identified for targeted support, are identified comprehensive support, or are identified as a persistently dangerous school. Evidence-based. Title IV Part A programs or activities must meet evidence-based and align to the levels of evidence as required by ESSA. Evidence-based interventions are programs or practices that have evidence to show that they are effective at producing results and improving outcomes when implemented. The kind of evidence described in ESSA has generally been produced through formal studies and research. Under ESSA, there are 4 tiers or levels of evidence. Tier 1 is strong evidence. Tier 2 is moderate evidence. Tier 3 is promising evidence. And Tier 4 is demonstrating a rationale. You can do this with a theory of action or a logic model. I have provided a link, and I would encourage you to go through the 4 tiers, as you'll be asked to provide these for each program or activity that you list for your Title IV funds. Alignment of funds and program activities. Here you'll be asked to identify the goals and outcomes of the Title IV Part A programs or activities. Well-rounded education for all students, support safe and healthy students, and effective use of technology. These may include any partnerships with an institution of higher education, business, nonprofit organization, community-based organization, or other public or private entity with a demonstrated record of success and implementing activities under this subpart. Title A's 4-part programs or activities must meet evidence-based standards and align to the levels of evidence as required by ESSA, which we just covered in the previous slide. During this section of the consolidated application, you'll be asked to identify the activity, as in the far left column. You'll be asked to provide a brief goal. What will your outcomes be? And what is the level of evidence of ESSA? And this will require you to say evidence level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and a brief description. Staff. All staff paid with Title IV funds should be included. If you are paying any staff member with Title IV Part A funds, you'll be asked to enter the name of the staff member. If the staff member has not yet been hired, you may add TBA and then submit the name of the individual later. Enter the corresponding North Dakota Teaching License Number or the North Dakota Title I Para Certificate Number, if applicable. Select the statement that best describes the staff position, and please note that some positions may require you to provide an explanation. Enter the corresponding grades level, if applicable, and then you'll be asked to enter the FTE the employee is paid with out of Title IV funds. So for example, if a teacher is paid 50% with Title IV and 50% with district funds, then the FTE in Title IV is 0.50 or 50%. We have a list of integrated activities for all three areas in Title IV. The activities list has been updated this year to be more broad and global and specifically aligned with ESSA. This is not an exhaustive list, but rather a range of practices and ideas. Remember, the purpose of Safe and Healthy Schools is to improve conditions for student learning. When students are healthy and feel safe and supported, they are more likely to succeed in school. Generally, the SSAE program funds may be used for any program or activity that fosters safe, healthy, supportive, drug-free school environments, including direct services and professional development and training for school staff. It is key to note when aligning any staff professional development, there is the Youth Behavioral Mental Health PD requirement. And so if you are using your state funds to meet that requirement, you may not use Title IV funds for the area of professional development for your school staff. However, if you've already met those 8 hours and you need further professional development, Title IV may be an option. On the screen, you'll see a list of activities, again, not all inclusive. One thing to note is school-based mental health services and school counselors. School counselors are required by state law in grades 7 through 12, and so it is important that this is not supplanting. So you'll see a soft error come up if this is the area that you select, and we'll have some discussion through using school counselors in your Safe and Healthy Fund. Well-rounded activities. Again, this has been updated in the consolidated application and aligned to ESSA. This is not an exhaustive list, but a range of practices and ideas. The purpose of well-rounded education is to provide an enriched curriculum and education experience to all students. A well-rounded education helps students make important connections among their studies, their curiosities, and their passions, and the skills they need to become critical thinkers and productive members of society. Effective use of technology and integrated activities. This has been updated in the consolidated application and aligned to ESSA. This is not an exhaustive list, but a range of practices and ideas. Improving the use of technology can lead to the improvement of academic achievement and digital literacy for all students. When carefully designed and thoughtfully applied, technology can amplify and expand the impact of effective practices supporting student learning, engaged community, fostering safe and healthy learning environments, and enable well-rounded educational opportunities. Title IV key information. Supplement, not supplant. Federal funds should be used to supplement, not supplant, non-federal funds that would otherwise be used for authorized activities. In general, federal funds must enhance, add to, and supplement services and programs that are offered with state and local funds. Federal funds may not be used to replace any services and programs that were offered using state and local funds. When determining whether or not an expenditure would create a supplanting violation, the district should consider the following questions. Is the program or activity that the district wants the funds required under state, local, or federal law? If so, this is supplanting. Were there state or local funds used in the past to pay for the program or activity? If so, this is possible supplanting. Transferability. Districts may transfer up to 100% of their Title IV funds into a program where they receive an allocation. So they could transfer into Title I, Title III, Title II, Title V. It is important to note that whatever program you transfer into, your funds must align with those rules. A separate webinar will provide further guidance on transferability. Sustainability. The primary purpose of Title IV, Part A of the Every Student Succeeds Act is to improve students' academic achievement by increasing the capacity of states, districts, schools, and local communities to provide all students with access to well-rounded education, improve school conditions for student learning, and improve the use of technology in order to improve academic achievement and digital literacy of all students. We do not know the funding of the SSAE program, so it is important as you build your programs and activities that support students with these supplemental funds, how are you going to sustain those if these funds went away? Key information. August 30th, 2019 will be the due date for your consolidated application. The grant period for allocating and spending Title IV funding for this consolidated application period is July 1, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. Here is the URL, electronic application. Board approval. The consolidated application federal title funding must be approved during a school board meeting prior to submission. We do check those dates. The application cannot be submitted without indicating a date when it was approved by the school board. Final allocations. Once final allocations are calculated, these allocations, including non-public equitable services, will be pre-populated within the consolidated application. Carryover. The final title carryover amounts will be pre-populated on the allocation section and can be found on the district's final financial report once it has been processed and approved. Passwords. New school administrators who need a password to access the district's consolidated application on STARS can contact one of the following staff within DPI, Doris Miller or Jamie Krause. The consolidated application guidance has been revised and is posted on the Department of Public Instruction's website. Please review it carefully as it includes a wealth of information including explanation on each section of the consolidated application, object code for coding expenditures, tracking fund guidance, general fiscal policies, and information regarding budget revisions. If you have any questions, the Title IV Program Administrator is Robin Lang within the Department of Public Instruction at 328-2265. Fiscal officers for Title IV will be Deb Pilo, 328-2753. Fiscal officer for Title I is Shauna Greff, 328-2958. Title I program contacts are Stephanie Trucrow, 328-2287. Annie Linden, 328-4612. Lori Nord is our Program Administrator, 328-2282. And Beth Larson-Steckler is a Program Administrator, 328-3544. That wraps up our Title IV Consolidated Application webinar for districts under 30,000. Thank you.